Hi, this is Circus Fit. I'm Carrie, and I'd like to talk to you today about attaining your flexibility goals. Now, I think everybody here has some flexibility goals, and maybe you've struggled with making any progress or with making much progress, and there's a lot of advice out there. And today I just want to give you 3 tips that I have for attaining your goals, regardless of which exercises you choose to do and how often. The 3 tips are environment, goals, and persistence. And I'm going to talk a little bit about each one. Environment. And I'm not only talking about the setting in which you're stretching and working on flexibility, but the environment inside your body as well. Talking a little bit of science here. So when we're working on our flexibility goals, when we're stretching and we're lengthening our muscles, we're changing our natural state of being from a place where we're more constricted to a place where we're more expanded and we have more range of motion. We're actually changing our physical structure of our body. It's science. And so in order to do that, we have to put ourselves in a state where our body responds to the messages we're giving it in a way that's efficient and makes a lot of sense. Let's talk about the neuromuscular system for a minute. So the nerves tell the muscles to either contract or relax. And so we really need to be attentive to the state of our nervous system when we're stretching. If we're all tense and stressed out and worried, then our nervous system is going to send worried and stress responses to our entire body, including our muscles. And so for efficient stretching, what we want to do is put ourselves into a calm state, accessing the parasympathetic nervous system, the rest and digest. And so this is the importance of the emotional state of being when we're stretching. And so when you're going into a stretching mode, check in with yourself. If you've had a stressful day or you're worried about something, you have to put yourself in a state that's a little more relaxing. And so that's where deep breathing comes in, where getting yourself in a meditative state works. Even just like putting on music that makes you feel good, music that you like. It makes your body relax, makes you think happy thoughts, makes you maybe think no thoughts, maybe just lets you focus in on the feeling sensations in your body. I can't explain more why this is so important to get yourself into a blissful state. So, sorry, I used the word bliss, but yeah, so a deep breathing, good music, good company, people around you that you love, warm environment. It's really important. And if you can get yourself into a blissful state when you're stretching, you're going to even get better results. And so even if you've just like had a good time, you've been out dancing, or you've hung out with your loved ones, or you're feeling great, this is actually a really good time to stretch because you've got endorphins, you've got all the good energy in your body, your nervous system is relaxed, and your muscles will respond to the messages that we're sending them in order to stretch more. Goals. So yes, we can have flexibility goals and we can reach them. First, we have to set really attainable goals, realistic goals. So if you can't touch your toes and you want to be a contortionist in 3 months, that's not a realistic goal. If you can't touch your toes and you want to touch your toes in 3 months, that could be a realistic goal for you. So when you're setting your goals, you have to be realistic, and you can get help with that. Get help from your teachers or from people who understand more. Setting goals can really help us attain them. So for example, if I have the goal to lose 20 pounds and I decide that I'm going to have a healthy diet sometimes, but not always, like maybe this week I'll eat healthy foods and not too much sugar and not too much processed foods, but then next week I kind of don't feel like it, and so I'll just go back to eating chocolate cake for every meal. And then, well, some days I kind of want to eat healthy and some days I don't, and it's not really going to help me attain the goal of losing weight and getting a healthy body. So it's the same with flexibility. If you have a flexibility goal and you only work on it every once in a while, then you're not going to attain that goal. And so if we set goals and we really choose to attain them, we have to do the work daily or weekly, however, whatever your program is that you're setting for yourself. You have to keep to it in order to attain your goal. So when we set a flexibility goal, it helps us to keep working towards it. And then it also can help us to think, I haven't been working towards that goal. Do I really want that goal? Is that goal really that important to me? And if the answer is yes, then you got to get yourself back on track. And if the answer is, nah, actually, I can live without a perfect straddle. I think I'd rather, go for a walk on the beach instead of stretching. So there you go. You have to make the choice. And if you make the choice to stick to the goal and attain the goal, then you're much, much more likely to actually do the work. Persistence. So fitness science says that it takes 4 to 6 weeks to attain any fitness goal, any fitness gain, and that's gaining strength or flexibility. And so if we're working towards a goal, we want to think a month to 2 months for each little baby step. And so we have to keep working towards that goal within that 1 to 2 month period. We can't just change around our goal within that month or 2 month period, because you're not going to see progress. You have to stay focused. And so one way to stay focused and not get bored, I'm going to stretch. Okay, I have a splits goal. I'm going to stretch my splits 3 or 4 days a week for 2 months. Yeah, so you might get a little bit bored with the splits. That's where you get into that blissful state. Put on the music, make a ritual for yourself, get into some breathing, and make it fun. I'm a one for ritual, and to kind of get your body into the flow, you're making the unfamiliar familiar. So the more times you do the same thing or variation of the same thing, the more your body will accept it as familiar, the new natural state of being. Repetition is really helpful in this way. If we get bored and we start hating the repetition, our nervous system isn't going to be helping us very much during that time. So we have to learn to love it. Get creative. Get creative with the music. Get creative with your environment. Get creative with what you're thinking and how you're processing the information, this mental state. Practice being calm. Practice self-love and self-worth. A lot of people tell me that when they're stretching more often and working towards their limits, that they actually feel a lot tighter and less flexible. Well, the news is that that's correct. So whenever we're stretching beyond our limits, we're making a new body. We're stretching beyond the limits that our body has now, whether that's with strength or flexibility, we're going to feel sore. Our muscles are working. Our muscle fibers are actually breaking down in order to become something new. And so the same thing goes with flexibility. When we're working towards flexibility and we're reaching past the flexibility that we have now, our muscles get sore. We feel tighter during the process. And so as long as you're working past your limits on a regular basis, you're going to feel tight, you're going to feel sore, and you're going to increase your flexibility. So being flexible and feeling flexible or feeling open aren't always in line with each other. Sometimes we're gaining flexibility and we're feeling tighter as we go. And then there's some days where you feel really open and you feel like, my end range mobility actually feels good and it feels open. And maybe that's because you've taken a little bit of a rest for a few days when you need it. But just know that you're going to feel sore and tight. And as soon as you've reached a goal and you start to work on maintenance instead of building more goals, then you're going to see that soreness is going to start to go away a little bit and you're going to feel a little bit more open. But as long as we're reaching towards goals, we're going to feel sore. Another note about persistence is it helps to obsess a little bit. So if there's a certain stretch or a certain flexibility that you're trying to gain, it's helpful to have it in your awareness all the time. And why not just make it your thing? Like, hey, I'm working on, my butterfly. I'm working on opening my hips. And then you can tell your friends, and then stretch when you're hanging out with your friends. Go sit in a butterfly and then be like, yeah, I'm working on my flexibility, so I might as well do this while we're hanging out drinking coffee together. And then anytime you're just kind of hanging out with nothing to do, maybe you're scrolling the internet, blah, 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 you can go into a passive stretch. So maybe you lay down, put your legs up the wall, and you're going, just thinking about always putting these flexibility goals into your awareness. And you don't always have to warm up and do this crazy intense stretch workout. You can just put it into your awareness and let this become a part of your natural body state. And just be like, okay, well, I'm just gonna like bring the bottoms of my feet together and open my hips a little bit, maybe massage into my thighs where I have this 5 minutes. Feels kind of good, actually, because I'm sore and this feels good to massage. Things like that. So good luck and enjoy your flexibility process. Remember, keep yourself feeling good. Flexibility goals are a perfect reason to reduce stress from your life. And take ownership of it, you know, like I'm gonna get this goal, and you can tell people about it. Maybe get other people in your life on board with it too, and then you have some people to stretch with, you know. Take ownership, make yourself feel good, do things good for yourself that will help you to attain your goals. Drink a lot of water, eat your good healthy foods, you know, hang out with loved ones, get lots of hugs, and keep persistent. If you keep persistent and work towards your goals in an efficient way, in a safe way, you will attain your goals. I promise, you will.